and welcome to another episode here of What Now, your midweek guide to navigating the forex markets. In today's video, we're going to zone in on the US dollar CAD currency pair. And we're going to start by discussing where it's heading. Then we're going to explore how to spot signs of reversal. And of course, that is a critical skill for staying ahead of the market changes. And then lastly, we're going to talk about what we need to watch out for the next 24 hours to make informed trading decisions. Now, if you find this content useful, please make sure that you subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any updates that we go ahead and post in the week. Now, also, very importantly, we've got plenty more valuable insight and strategies coming your way. So stay tuned and stay ahead of the markets. Let's go ahead and dive right into it. I'll see you right after this. Alrighty, traders all, welcome back. And yes, we're going to be talking about the US dollar CAD. And I'm sure a lot of people got a lot of concerns around what the market's going to do after we got the numbers coming out this week. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at the calendar this week, and we can see that we had some CPI numbers that came out for the Canadians, and it showed that we actually ticked up much higher than expected. Now, you would think that would strengthen the Canadian dollar, but the markets have been really weird, man. I'm telling you right now, weird. All right, they've been weird. So, which means that normally you see a rate, or at least an interest rate hike. Let me rephrase that. Normally you see the CPI, the inflation numbers go higher. You would think that the central banks will start thinking about raising interest rates, and the market investors would obviously consider that might be the next move. And that would go ahead and move money into cash and move out of high risk assets. And therefore, we'd see the currency strengthening. Now, in this case, we're not seeing the same thing happen. After we saw the CPI numbers come out, we saw a little bit of a downside push, but the market's pretty much sat at a level and turned around and headed back up north. And this would mean that the Canadian dollar actually lost ground against the US dollar. So if we go over here, this is the chart on the daily time frame. And if you could take a look over here, we can see this nice little wick candle right here, indicating that the market's holding at support. Now, if you follow me in my trading sessions, you'll hear me talk about the three phases of the market. We call it the power of three, which means we see accumulation, manipulation, and distribution. And this is what we're looking at right here. So this candle right here, beside that indecision candle, was the range, right? Was the candle range. So that means we've got accumulation. Now we have the manipulation phase. We can see our price goes ahead and breaks below there, and then comes back up and closes up above that previous low. And then the next trading day, which means our next day model, it will be bullish. We're expecting price to be bullish, which means that the wick, the small piece of the wick right here, let me zoom it in closer. This is your opportunity right here. So if you're looking for opportunity, it's inside that area right there. All right, that's what we're looking for. That's where we're looking for the reversal. Anyways, going back to where we're seeing right now, price has now moved up to test the daily range. And this is what makes things exciting. Now, granted, traders, that we are seeing the market go up higher above the previous daily high. All right, so we are seeing price trading above this high right here, which means that we're closing out bullish, which means that we're expecting price to continue to move back up north. But because I'm following the previous day range, which is this high and low, what I'd like to see is, can the market trade above that? And can the market trade above it and stay above that? If it doesn't, then that means that we're just trading inside this range, which means that traders, we're moving into what we call accumulation mode, right? And if we're going into accumulation mode, then we could probably see manipulation. Now, could manipulation go ahead and pop here and then continue to move back down south? Well, the answer to that is probably yes. And the reason why is because if you look at the bigger picture on this particular pair right here, you can see that we have a sell side liquidity down here that the market has not gone ahead and taken out. We've seen a lot of manipulation here at the top. We've seen some sweeps of some buy side liquidity. And so, therefore, our liquidity draw on this particular currency pair is down here at 35.65 or 35.45. And so we're still anticipating price to continue to work its way back down, and we'll be looking for some manipulation here on the top as price starts to distribute down towards the target and sweep these liquidity lows that have not been taken out. So there's definitely liquidity draws down below. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at what it looks like down on the lower time frame. So here's the lower time frame. So what I'll be doing here on the lower time frame over the next 24 hours is I'll be looking for signs of reversal. We're already seeing a rising wedge, which is a reversal pattern. If you know anything about wolf waves, then you know that a rising wedge is a very key indication of a possible reversal. We've got to see manipulation, the same thing, right? We've got to see accumulation, manipulation, then distribution. Same thing happens with wolf waves. We'll see the same thing. Accumulation, although it's in a wedge form, and then we'll see manipulation through the highs, and then we'll see price moving down, distributing. So here is the high. We can see we've had equal highs up here at the top. Price is tested. Let's see if we can see some market structure shift. And then we can start looking for some further downside movement towards the bottom of the range, which means that we're going to see price moving further down south. Now, could we see a much higher manipulative move? Absolutely. All right. Manipulation doesn't necessarily mean we're going to see just a spike above there and then move down. We could see actually displacement above there, price trading above there, and then moving further down south. So manipulation is what it is. It's manipulation, right? And so we'll be keeping an eye on what's going on here over the next 24 hours. Now, let's take a look at news announcements that could help the market drive it in a direction. So if we look at Friday's trading, we can see here we have the Canadian GDP coming out. That's important right there. So we've got GDP coming out, not really a big news announcement coming out for tomorrow, but we certainly have this as a factor here for price action movement. And so at 8:30 tomorrow, we might see some action in the market. Now, what I'd like to see as we're moving forward, I'd like to go now to a 1 hour, a 4 hour and a 1 hour time frame. And I'd like to look for liquidity levels where the market's going to go ahead and sweep. So as we're looking over here, this is what I'm looking for. This is our daily range. And so I'm going to be looking for exactly what we look for on the larger time frame, and that is accumulation, manipulation, and distribution. And so I will be looking for an indication that we're seeing some manipulation at the highs here. When we anticipate that, then I'll be looking for a market structure shift. When we get that, I'll be looking for price to continue to move back down towards this level of support down here at 36.49. And then, because of the manipulation, I would be expecting price to then start working its way further down south towards that 1.35 and possibly even down to 132. If you don't know where 132 is, once again, just go ahead and compress your chart. You can go to weekly time frame if you want to go ahead and do that. And you can see right here, all the way down here is around about 132. And this is where we can anticipate price to overall move to those lows. So this is where we're going right here. I can go ahead and mark them off here, as this is going to be an area where we're going to see a lot of liquidity right here. I'm going to mark it off as my sell side liquidity right there. In fact, I can mark it off as really just support for right now. And so there is what the market would be chasing after. Remember, traders, we came off this resistance up here at the top. You see how price has gone ahead and tested this area quite a bit, right? And so we've definitely got resistance holding over here. And therefore, we'll be looking for price to work its way back down towards this support area down here. So this is where we are. Now, if you're going to say to me, well, big dog, is there not a possibility that price could move all the way up here and we could see manipulation as price takes out this buy side liquidity and as price comes back up to the resistance? That is always a possibility, all right? Always a possibility. What's going to be key right now is that we pay attention to the short-term moves. Let's not commit ourselves to a sell-off yet until we get a confirmation of a market structure shift on a larger time frame, not the 15, not the 1 hour, not the 5 minute, but would like to see the 4 hour time frame, and even possibly the daily, but the daily is going to take a while. But the 4 hour might just be something. So something on the larger time frame. If we can see some market structure shift on those time frames, maybe we can go the 1 hour. And if we see something on the 1 hour, which means we're going to sweep this low here at around about 36.78, and then that would possibly create some opportunity for us so we can look for fair value gap entries and sell it off towards the next day low. So with that being said, traders, good luck with your trading, and let's see how things play out over the course of the next 24 hours as we set up for the weekly close, and that'll also give us a very good idea of whether or not price is going to be bearish next week, or are we going to see price continue to be bullish. Traders, I will see you in the next live session.